Hey guys, Mitch here from the TheAudioDabbler YouTube channel, and I'm testing a new setup today with my kind of an overhead camera rig. Basically just took a monopod and clamped it down to a shelf so that it hangs above the desk, and so I get a nice top-down view, which I think is really pretty sweet now that I can do some, maybe some better tutorials and quicker and easier because it's just so simple to set up. I mean, it took me no time to get this set up today. So, anyway, without further ado, in order to test this, I'm going to just play with my LaunchPad Pro and the new Cauldron app from Yonac. And I kind of want to go over... There was a thread over on the Audiobus forum that was talking about MIDI guitar controllers. And... have good experiences with MIDI guitar controllers on iOS. Kind of like to be able to control a variety of third-party synths and stuff with my guitar. And the few that I've tried out and played around with, even on desktop, they just don't seem to work out very well. And I know that Fisherman has a thing, has a triple play that can hook up and translate, and it's supposedly really good, but that thing is also like, $300 or $400. Of course, what I'm gonna pitch to you is also $299 unless you find it on sale somewhere. But this does a lot more than just translate. Had to get a sip of the coffee. It also does more than just translate MIDI or translate to guitar. I mean, it can just do a whole variety of things. But I would say if you're looking to play your iOS synths with your guitar or like a guitar, then definitely check out the LaunchPad Pro because of the way these lights are set up, or the way the pads are set up. So the way it's set up is this is C, and so whenever you're in the default note mode and you're in C, all the lit up keys are all the white keys on a keyboard. And so and the way it translates is this is the root. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you'll notice, to play a power chord on a guitar, you play top string and the next string 2 frets over. So let me get to something that is so you can play easily, play power chords of songs that you know. So that makes it fun. And so also, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you're back to 1. And so if you'll notice too, if you're a guitar player, try a different preset. You'll notice that you're playing root, fifth, root, just like you would on a guitar. So for some like ambient stuff, you can play it similar to what you would on a guitar. Makes things really, really fun. And I'll go ahead and tell you that the 4th row is also mimics or mirrors the strings on a guitar. So to play a C chord, that would be C major. It would be the same shape as the C major on the top fret if you were playing the major chord on the top fret. or full bar chord. And actually the full bar chord would go, so the 5th and 6th strings are offset 1. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that'll give you the full bar chord of C and all the notes. So that is just awesome, I think. And you can easily things like that. So let's go. And so another cool feature would be that I can move the root note. And so this is C, defaults to C, but if I move it over, then that's C sharp. And so all of the keys, it just transposes it basically. And so I can transpose it up 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to an E. And now this string right here, this first column of notes become like an open chord. Like the open strings. So you do. So that's a little bit of like Nothing Else Matters or something. Okay, so what you can do with that is if I bring up these percussions, I think it sounded pretty cool with the bells. So if you know a basic kind of blues riff, so it's just so much fun with that. Let's find another preset here to demonstrate something else. I'm in a percussion. Let's see. Let's go back to keyboards here. So it's fairly easily. There's still a learning curve, and you still got to figure out exactly the notes are on these bottom two. You just got to remember everything is shifted over one. So if I wanted to play a G chord, and I'm still over here, and I still have E as the root, this would be G because this would be first, second, and third fret. That would be the full G chord. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then what you can do with that is if you know a song that it's kind of in G, like Pink Floyd's "Wish You Were Here." Now, I haven't figured out the lead part on it, but it'd be fun to, be able to just sit there and jam out on it. It does have Aftertouch, and so any of these synths inside this app right here, you can, if we go back to some of the leads, and let's find something that might work out well. So right now the pitch +7, it's got an LFO as the modifier, and that'll make the pitch when you move the pitch. I'll show you. It'll kind of do the vibrato thing automatically, but if I want to control that with my Aftertouch, then I just have to choose the control here, because that's how a lot of these matrices work, is you have a target, and if you have a modifier, then you can modify it like with the LFO. So the LFO is oscillating, and as I engage the target with the control, whether it's the mod wheel or the Aftertouch, it's going to engage. It's going to go through the modifier to go through the target. Hopefully that made sense. But if I want to take the modifier off, then that gives me more control if I want to utilize the Aftertouch to, do my own vibrato stuff. Might not be a good And so what I did here is these are the controls for the Aftertouch, and I did higher over here, and that makes it not engage as often. So much fun to be had. So let's get some bass going on here. It's got some pretty meaty. So it almost allows you to play a little bit like Victor Wooten as far as bass goes, because you can kind of tap it in. If you're not for sure who Victor Wooten is, search him on YouTube. He is pretty awesome. Let's see. Alrighty, let's see. Alright, I'm at 14 minutes. Okay, so before I let you guys go, I just want to go through something that I was like, what are all these little notes? And so, pretty much if you've used any Yonac app, a lot of are the same. You got your banks over here and your presets, and it comes with a crap load of them. You have your synth. You can create your own stuff. You've got your modifiers. You got your LFOs, envelopes, and then your kind of mod matrix. You do have ARPs and your effects. It's got a classic reverb, or it's got a reverb, a delay, and then like a flanger or a chorus. The Spawn 2 thing, Doug over at the Soundtest room. He did a pretty good job explaining all this, so I'm not going to just beat that to death. I may do a specific video just on it. You can... You've got some XY pads over here that you can easily change what they're each controlling, which is always fun. You've got basic preferences, and they're always really good. Yonac's always really good about having a lot of customization and preferences, and this is where you will find your background audio, your buffer size, Ableton link, and things like that. And what is this? MIDI note in max. Maybe that's the max amount that a MIDI note can send. I don't feel like it's really... That's what my only complaint so far is. I don't feel like even this thing... This LaunchPad is sensitive, and I can bring up other apps and show you how sensitive it is. But just some apps seem to just don't... They don't understand its sensitivity, how it sends it in. So anyway, so in the presets, these are kind of not self-explanatory. And so I'm going to just kind of go through the bottom row here. So this right here would be to add a new bank. This would be if you wanted to rename a bank, and it's going to rename whatever you have selected. So if you want to rename recent, well, that one can't be renamed, but if you want to rename leads, you can. If you want to create a new bank, if you want to delete a bank or move some banks around, say you want the effects up at the top, you can do that. And if you want to export a specific bank, you can do that. You can export it with email, iTunes export, or you can also import them with iTunes. Okay, and so then, so that half controls the banks, and then this half over here, the next half controls the presets. And so if you're on the Vide, you go in, you make some changes, you want to save it, you want to hit the little pencil with the plus sign, because that's going to give you a save as. Because if you hit this button right here with the save with the little arrow going to it, it's going to save changes to the Divide. The good thing is you have over here at the very corner, you have a restore factory presets. This will reinstall all the factory banks. This action will not overwrite or delete any existing banks or presets. So it'll reinstall all the factory banks, but it won't overwrite or delete any existing banks or presets. So if you've added some, supposedly I haven't tested it out, but anyway, and so if you want to just start from scratch, you can hit the int button. So that's really nice. I like programming synths sometimes, but then there's some that you have to go in and you have to make your own initialized patch because they're just not... They don't have that initialized patch that just has everything set to 0 and just a basic patch to start from. And so if you want to rename a patch, select the patch to rename, and then you can rename it. If I want to move a certain preset into a different bank, I can. So just select whichever one you want, and then you can move it. If you want to delete a preset or kind of move them around, and it will auto number the things, you surely can do that, because these will... Yonac's always been good about listening to program change messages. I don't know if I have any program change messages over here on my... Alright, so... Okay, so if I'm in like leads, okay, it's going to select that certain bank. Yeah, so it'll listen to program change messages. Okay, so then you have export a certain preset. So if you got a preset you want to share with people, then you can export it right there. And then this is really cool. This little almost looks like a gesture hat. It will randomly pick out of all of the banks and presets. It'll just randomly pick one. So similar to the Spawn, although it's not going to give you a completely random preset as far as creating one from scratch, but it will give you, it'll just go through and pick a random, just pick a random preset. So I thought that was kind of cool. We just bring in here and just almost be a cool way to demo the app. Just hit the random button every once in a while. Alrighty, well, I guess that's it. Oh yeah, you can search patch too. So anyway, so hopefully, you know, this was not a definite tutorial. This was kind of a sound test, a little bit of a sound test, and then just a kind of a show you how awesome the LaunchPad Pro is with using it to like a guitar. So all guitar players out there, I would recommend this because it's just brought so much life into my music production, not having to always grab my guitar, or I can easily translate most things from my guitar over to the MIDI really easily. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this helped pick up the Yonac Cauldron app. If you want to, the LaunchPad Pro is also another recommendation from me for all guitar players. Just if you want to, if you like this content and it helped you, then consider you know, subscribing or becoming a Patreon. Or if you're not into that kind of stuff, then I have a one-off donation link for PayPal. And then if you're not want to do that stuff, then just continue to just hit the thumbs up button, comment on the videos and let me know what you think, and subscribe to my channel and share it on your favorite social media site. Talk to you guys later.